Hey everybody, Jason Collings here. Welcome back to I Do Stand Up. When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city. I don't know why that song stuck in my head, but it just fucking is. If you are enjoying this little series that I'm doing, if you want to keep seeing more, make sure to remember to subscribe, then hit the notification bell so you will know when something new on this channel is coming. You will be notified anytime something's posted if you hit the notification bell. And if you want to see me in your city, if you want me to come on tour to your city doing stand-up comedy, then for the love of Pete, my little Jim Carrey, for the love of Pete, tell a friend, get the word out. And that's kind of the thing I want to talk about today. A lot of people ask me, how does it work? How does it work? How do people find out about you? How did you progress in your career? How the hell does it work? And I'm here to tell you right now that as of today, April 28th, 2025, I have absolutely no fucking idea how it works, because this business is not the business that I got into. The stand-up comedy business has changed dramatically since I've started doing this. I started back in 2006. And back when I started, what the way it worked was you built your set. You worked on the craft and you built an act. And what, you know, when we say my act, I'm talking about my set, my hour set. That's the act that you see. And what you did was you started off with getting that undeniable 5-minute set. Just get that 5 minutes so killer. Then you start working on the 10-minute set. Then you get that 10-minute set killer, undeniable, till you can turn it into a 15-minute set. Then you take that 15-minute set and you work that shit and you work that shit until it's undeniable, and you can add another little 5 minutes to it. And now you got yourself a 20-minute set, a killer 20-minute set. And once you had that 25-minute set, you could start reaching out or having these bigger headliners see you and ask you to come open for them on the road. And that spot on the show, if you've ever been to a comedy show, and a lot of you probably have, on the road, it doesn't work that way in LA much, because what we do out here in LA and New York and some of the other big cities is what's called showcase shows, where it's like 9:30, it's like these 6 comics. On the road when we're touring, you got an MC doing 8 to 10 minutes. Then the feature act comes out and he does 20, 25 minutes, sometimes 30, depending on what the headliner is okay with. Then the headliner, your big closer, comes out and he does his 45 to hour to maybe even more set. And that's how the show works. And once you get that 20 minute, 25-minute set, you work that set. It takes years. It used to take anyways. I'm talking about how it worked when I started. And then you built that 25-minute set into a half an hour. Then you built that into an hour. And then you crafted this amazing act, or what you consider to be your undeniable amazing act. That was the process. Then once you had the act, and once you had your voice, and you were an established guy, and you knew what you were talking about, and you knew who you were, then you start getting agents would see you, bookers would see you. And one of the things that somebody told me once when I was first starting out, I said, how do I get a manager or an agent? And this was very good advice back then. I don't know how it works now. Back then, I was told that you don't go after them; they find you. Because a good booker, a good agent, a good manager, they will go to the shows, and they're like scouting. They're like scouting agents, like college ball. When you have there's a scout in the stands watching me, run these plays or whatever. It's the same thing. It was the same thing with stand up, and that process took me about 6 years, 6 to 7 years. Because in my 6.5, 7th year in stand-up comedy, the booker for the Tonight Show, that was the big thing back then. I don't know how relevant late night TV sets are today. I don't think very. Who knows? I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm talking about how it used to work. And we'll get into how I feel about how it's working today. So, and the booker for the Tonight Show when it was still in Los Angeles, in Burbank, at NBC, and Jay Leno was the host. That booker saw me perform a very undeniable, because I was working on it for that 7 freaking years. He saw the undeniable set, and I booked the Tonight Show. And I was a 7-year comic. This was 2013. I booked the Tonight Show, which back then was the holy grail of stand-up comedy. If you could book a late night set, it made your career. Up until that point, almost. Up until about 2013, 2014. And then things started changing. But so I booked that all in the same year. I got the Tonight Show, the bookers for BET Comic View on BET, which was a huge comedy showcase show that was career changing. I booked that the same year. That very same year, I got invited up to arguably the biggest comedy festival of all time, which was back then, which Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in Montreal. It was the festival, and I got invited, flown out, and showcased all over that festival. I wasn't considered a new face. For some reason, they said, you don't seem like a new face, you're a little older. So they featured me on Best of the Fest, Talk of the Fest, the BET Comic View show, about 4 or 5 different shows, which was great because I was up there for about 4 days, and they flew me out, put me in a hotel. It was great. All that same year. And then in that exact same year, 2013, the booker of the Comedy Store in Hollywood, California, which is to me the mecca of stand-up comedy, passed me what they call passing you as a paid regular. I got passed as a paid regular at the Comedy Store, which means now you can start calling your avails in every Monday, and we'll put you up on the whenever we can during the week, and they're paid spots. You're considered a paid regular at that club. You're a member of the club. It's like a club that you're a member of now. Got my name on the wall. That's how it was. Now, had that happened to me, in my opinion, had that happened to me a year, 2 to 3, let's say 5 years earlier, my career would have been completely made. It would have been, that was it. I was the guy, because I started getting booked at clubs. And then everything stopped. It plateaued, and there was some changes in the industry. Social media started happening. Diversity started happening, which, in my opinion, diversity is a great thing if it's not an overcorrection. And I started getting the, hey, no one's really interested in a white dude, straight middle-aged white guy, right? And when I wasn't middle-aged, it was in my 30s, but the diversity thing happened, and that did affect me. And I'm not saying woe was me, because the industry was so white for so many fucking years before that, but that did have an effect on me, and I plateaued. And I was getting headlining dates here and there, but mainly I was making a living. Kind of went backwards a little bit, and I was featuring for headliners that had made it. These guys made it before all the changes started happening. For example, my friend Brent Morin, who you all know and love, he booked a sitcom, and it was 3 seasons, and he had 2 Netflix specials. Shit was working. So he which is crazy, because what a lot of people you don't know is that when Brent first started stand-up comedy, he was my opener. Brent was my feature. I was the headliner, and Brent was my opener. Those roles switched when the industry flipped on me. And I wasn't getting the opportunities that I thought I deserved, and so on and so forth. I'm not here trying to be bitter. I'm not here trying to be upset. However, the industry changed, and it did affect me in a few different ways. But I'm not a quitter. And my buddy Eric Griffin, he's one of my good buddies in stand-up comedy. You may know him from Workaholics and several other things that he's been a part of. He was on I'm Dying Up Here on Showtime. He told me once, he said, nobody fails at this business. They just quit. And I'm not about to quit. Not about to quit. So I remember those words, and I just kept plugging away. And then I started gaining some momentum again. Started getting these headlining gigs. I'm touring. It's great. Then what happens? Pandemic, COVID, world completely shut down. So one of the things that we did during COVID that I thought was going to be a good thing is we did a podcast. Podcasts, people were making careers out of podcasts. For some reason, me and Brent Morin had a really good podcast, one of the best podcasts in my opinion. Didn't catch on. We didn't get a whole lot of viewers. We didn't get a whole lot of fans. We didn't get a whole lot of people wanting to have us on. One of the things that you may have noticed with a lot of the podcast people, and especially in the Rogan the Rogan sphere, I guess what you call it. Theo Von, Bobby Lee, all these guys, they were all going on each other's podcasts. We weren't going on any. I ended up, and trust me, we asked. I put it out there. I put the feels out there. I was told no by a few of my, what I consider pretty good friends. I was told flat out no. And Whiskey Ginger was one of the ones that I was on. Andrew Santino, shout out. He had me on Whiskey Ginger. Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub, shout out to those two guys. They had me on Fighter and the Kid twice. So there was a few, but not enough. And those guys just started just blowing up, and I kind of got left behind on that one as well. Then the pandemic was over, and I was thinking, thank God, because I'm going to get back into the comedy clubs. I'm going to get back on the road. But what I didn't figure into the equation was social media. I'm a little bit of an older guy. I'm 54 years old. Social media was not a thing when I started stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy was all about, like I said, perfecting and mastering the craft, building the act, and then finding the following. Now, during the pandemic, a lot of people got really big on social media. Social media took over everything. And it's, people used to go to comedy clubs and find their favorite comic. That is not a thing anymore. Trust me. And I'm not saying you're going to go to a comedy club and not find any good comics. You're going to find some great comics, but you're not discovering. You probably went to the comedy club because someone you saw on TikTok was on the show. Then you'll say, wait, there's this other guy. So people are still getting seen and kind of discovered, I guess, in the club, but nothing like it used to be. Not a goddamn thing like it used to be. TikTok became a thing. People got huge on TikTok. And it became a thing because people could see comedy, and I use that word loosely with a lot of these people that got big on TikTok. They could see it without leaving the house, and they could see people they'd never seen before. And also there were people on there that were being extremely creative, very creative with what they had to work with, which was not being able to leave. But then we have all this technology, like these cameras, and people could set up a freaking studio in their home now with the way technology is. See, when I started stand-up, in order to get a good enough camera, it's going to cost you like thousands upon thousands of dollars. Whereas now you can get a decent camera, some lighting, microphone, and you could do it all at home. And people were being extremely creative with that. I wasn't. Not because I didn't want to, because I didn't know any better. I was an older guy. This technology is still confusing to me today. And so what happened was, because this is a very commonly asked question to me, and if you're watching this, I want you to hear this, okay? One of the most common questions I am asked by people online, by the people that are my fans. I have a fan base, but it's very small. It's small compared to a lot of these other people. I have a very small fan base. Who, by the way, sorry about the slurring, I greatly appreciate and love. My fan base, I love them so much. I have fans that are now not fans. They're actually my friends now. I've become friends with some of my fans. That's kind of how small my fan base is. But I do have a small one. And so one of the questions I get asked, most common questions I get asked is, when are you going to come to my town? Why aren't you touring the same clubs as XYZ comic or this other comic? When are you going to come to this club? The answer is very simple. I need to build my online following, because this is where we get discovered now. You're not going to come see me somewhere. Also, the clubs, they're not going to book me based on my talent. They're just not going to. There are very few that do. I will shout you guys out. Grand Comedy Club in Escondido, California. He books me solely because he likes me as a comic. We both agree I'm not going to sell the place out. My fan base isn't big enough yet, by the way. We're working on that. But he books me because I'm funny. But most of the comedy clubs around this country, guys, have to understand, they're basically restaurants. They are restaurants and bars that just so happen to have live comedy. And the way they make their money is butts in the seats. And the only way they're going to sell enough drinks and enough, mozzarella sticks and chicken tenders to keep the doors open is if they sell out every freaking show. And the way that that's happening now, because of this new generation, The way Gen Z and these younger kids are finding their favorite comedians is on the devices, and that's very much a young man's game. And I'm not saying there aren't people my age doing it. There's a lot, but the majority are these young kids, and they're incredible at doing it. They know how to use the equipment. They know how to do they know how the algorithms works. I can't even say the fucking word. Algorithms. That's a language that I do not speak. I don't speak the algorithm. I don't know how to speak it. I'm learning. And like, for example, one of the mistakes I made is I thought the algorithm had a sense of humor. I'm like, why isn't this video getting more views? It's hilarious. Algorithm didn't give a fuck about the art. Algorithm doesn't give a fuck about the quality of entertainment that's happening. All it cares about is what pumps that thing, which keeps it going, which feeds it, which sucks its dick. And the algorithm likes 4K. The algorithm likes it to be set up a certain way. The algorithm likes captions in a certain way. The algorithm, it's just so many different things that I had to relearn. See, when I started doing stand-up comedy, the thing that I had to be good at was stand-up comedy. Now I have to be a promoter. Now I have to be a video editor. Now I have to be a computer genius. I mean, I'm at that age where I'm still calling the internet the computer. Like when I take a cool picture, I'll tell my brother, I'm like, oh, this is a great shot. I'm gonna go put it on the computer. I just mean put it on Instagram. It's just old guy shit. So my answer to the question is, why aren't you here? Is because I don't have a big enough following yet to put enough butts in the seats of that club for them to want to book me so that they're making money. And I'm going to say this, and I don't give a shit what club is listening right now. They've gotten very lazy. See, they want to book people, they don't have to pay for any advertising. Advertisements can get expensive from what I understand. And when I started out and we were doing tours before social media, what we did is the club had their newsletters, their emails, they had relationships with the TV stations, they had relationships with the radio stations. We'd fly in a day early, get up early in the morning, and we'd go do morning television. We would do radio, and we would just not happening. And I know there are some places that are still doing it, but as a whole, it ain't fucking happening. Correct me if I'm wrong, because if I'm wrong, then I have no idea what the hell I'm doing wrong. Not that I'm saying I'm doing anything wrong, but I'm still learning how it works. And if as those are my fans, like I said, those that are in my fan base, you guys see, I'm putting out content every day. I put out short form comedy sets. I gave you guys a special on Amazon and on YouTube. So I'm doing my job. I just need to get better at the other side of it, which is, here, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. And I'm posting there every day. So if you want me in your town, tell your friends, like the videos, share the videos, comment on the videos, show people. If you think I'm funny, and I get comments every day, man, you're hilarious, why haven't I heard of you? Tell your friends, go to work, tell them, share it. Because I think that's still kind of how it works. But as far as the algorithms, I'm still learning. I'm not going to quit on you guys, and I'm still growing. For example, I got a new podcast coming out. I don't know if you guys have some of you that are a little younger may not know this, but there was a hit television show on for 9 seasons, I believe it was, called Family Matters. You remember the Urkel character? Well, my buddy Darius McCrary was the older brother on that show. He played Eddie Winslow. Him and I, along with David Faustino, who was Bud on the Married with Children, if you remember that incredibly funny show, and my buddy Sean Harrison, who was also on Family Matters. We are doing a podcast called Pull Up, Darius and Friends, and we're having a blast. I'm the only comedian. I'm on there with actors. The conversations are incredibly interesting. So you'll be seeing that, and if you like it, again, share it, push it out there to your friends. We got some sponsorships, so they're going to help out with that, because that's another thing I notice these days. It takes a lot of sponsorships and ads and shit like that and networks to push your shit out there. And again, I'm still learning, but the way it works now is if you want me to come to if you're in a town and you're wondering why I haven't come there, tell as many people in that town as you can to follow me and figure out who I am. And then I'll be able to come out there, because then I can sell some tickets. Obviously, you guys who know who the close ones are, you just DM me and I'll give you free tickets. Other than that, pretty much, I think that's how it works. Again, make sure you continue to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I'm coming at you. and I will make sure to keep as many of these happening as possible. I'll keep you posted on the new podcast. Go follow me on Instagram. This is my Instagram. There it is. Follow me on TikTok. This is my TikTok. There it is. Follow me on Facebook. All the stuff. Come check it out. Thanks for listening. And guess what, man? I do stand up. Bye.